And to our focus today, it's about 24 hours after the Supreme Court reaffirmed the election of Okpebholo as governor of Edo State. It was a day of jubilation across Edo State as residents trooped to the streets in large numbers to celebrate the Supreme Court judgment, affirming Okpebholo as a duly elected governor. Supporters, party loyalists, and members of the public were seen dancing, chanting, and waving banners in celebration of the verdict, which they described as a victory for democracy and the will of the people. Valentino Sumbo reports.
The Apex Court found no reason to set aside the concurrent judgment of both the Court of Appeal and the Edo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, which returned Okpebholo of the All Progressives Congress APC as the valid winner of the governorship election. It held that the appellant failed to adduce credible and admissible evidence to substantiate his claim that the election was marked by irregularities that included overvoting and substantial non-compliance with provisions of the Electoral Act. Likewise, it held that the appellant failed to call relevant witnesses to demonstrate some of the evidences he tendered in support of his case, especially the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS machines. Some of the proof of evidence which were tendered from the bar were merely dumped on the tribunal without establishing alleged non-compliance in 432 out of the total of 4,519 polling units in the state.
Well, that report there sent in by Celestina Irea detailing the judgment of the Supreme Court, which reaffirmed Okpebholo as governor of Edo State. Let's now bring you a report on the celebration on the streets of Edo State following that judgment.
In a scene marked by excellence and unity, jubilant residents in Benin City and across Edo State pour out in celebration following the Supreme Court landmark ruling which upheld Governor Okpebholo's victory in the September 21st, 2024 governorship election. The governor, alongside his deputy and top-party functionaries, led a carnival-like procession through major roads, culminating at the government house. Describing the ruling as a renewed call to service, Governor Okpebholo pledged to remain focused on delivering good governance, promoting unity and ensuring prosperity across all parts of the state.
So I want to let you know Edo must build Edo. So the journey has started. By the grace of God, we are just taking 7 months away. By the time we are 2 years, Edo will know that somebody has governed this state.
Other speakers expressed confidence in Governor Okpebholo's leadership and reaffirmed their commitment to supporting his administration development vision.
Senator Okpebholo, my principal, on behalf of the good people of Edo today, I want to thank you for fighting for us. Because it's not everybody that can fight when there is legal battle. It takes a leader that understands where we are going.
Let's celebrate. As we celebrate, don't over-celebrate to the extent you don't pray for them. We must pray for them. For one thing, we need resources to carry out all the reforms that he wants to do in Edo State.
And I've seen that the governor is ready to work in Edo, and the governor is ready to give us the best. My prayer for him is for people to pray for him and join hands with him to make Edo a better place again, greater than what it is before.
With the legal battle now behind him, Governor Okpebholo returned to office with renewed legitimacy and popular support as Edo residents continue to express unwavering enthusiasm for the journey ahead. Valentino Sumbo, TVC News, Benin.
While Governor Okpebholo, his party and loyalists celebrates this victory, candidate of the PDP, Asue Ighodalo, has actually said he feels a deep sense of betrayal by the decision of the Apex Court, although he accepts the finality of its decision. Let's bring in Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to Edo State Governor Osiogogi Okhuemoi for more on what this judgment means for Edo State. Mr. Okhuemoi, good to have you join us on the program. Congratulations on your principal's victory, but let's do a bit of playback just so we can learn from it. Some have described your victory as a slim one. What does this mean, and what does this say about the level of acceptance for Governor Okpebholo?
Thank you for having me. Always a delight to be here. I don't know what you mean by a slim one. I mean, it's what I'll call a flawless victory. The body responsible for conducting elections, INEC, declared Governor Monday Okpebholo as winner. They went to the tribunal declared Governor Okpebholo as winner. They went to the appeal court affirmed the decision of the tribunal. They went to the Supreme Court did the same thing by affirming. Now what makes it beautiful is that all of these legal judgments were unanimous. At the tribunal, all the judges, arrived at the same conclusion. At the appeal court, all the judges arrived at the same conclusion. At the Supreme Court, all the judges arrived at the same conclusion. No single dissenting judgment. So that cannot be termed a slim victory in any way. That was a flawless victory. And it's because from the beginning, there was nothing. There was no case. There was no substance at all. So it was a journey in futility. It was a journey to nowhere for the PDP and their candidate. And it has just reached its logical and conclusive end. So, I mean, this was a massive victory for Edo people. It wasn't slim by any margin. It was decisive. It was a final and effective knockout to whatever case the PDP and their candidate had.
To say it's actually about whether you were able to clean the 3 senatorial districts, north, central, and south of Edo State. But let's talk about the olive branch. More often than not, we hear governors talking about we're extending the olive branch. We want everyone to work with our government. How exactly is Governor Okpebholo carrying everybody along?
From day one, from the day he was sworn in, Governor Monday Okpebholo extended the olive branch to the guys on the other side to join him in developing Edo State. Governor Monday Okpebholo's position and his ideology towards politics and governance is that we are leaving he was a very successful person before he went into seeking for public service. So having left that, the only reason you should be seeking for public office is to better the lives of the people of the location that you are trying to, serve, He believes that during politics and during campaigns, we can take our partisan positions, we can campaign for our candidates, we can go to, we can have our contests and contentions. But once the process has been concluded, and a winner has been announced, it is expected that for people who had noble intentions to serve the people, for people who had pure intentions, if truly your reason for seeking public office was to serve the people, now that there is a government that will be in office for the minimum the first 4 years, join hands with the person who has been elected to see how, the people can have public service at the end of the day must always be about the people. So from day one, he let the guys on the other side know that, politics is over, campaigns are over, elections have been concluded. Let's join hands and let's, develop Edo State. If for whatever reason you have to play opposition politics, because opposition politics is part of our democracy and it has its place and its positivities. If you have to play opposition politics, maybe because you belong to a political party, let it be constructive, let it be people-oriented. Where the government is doing right, at least be honest about it that things are being done. And where you think there can be a difference, you offer constructive criticisms. And that's why in developed climes, we have, some of them have what they call a shadow government, where you put together a pseudo-government that scrutinizes the policies and the activities of the government in power. So it's an appreciation of the place of opposition. But he has always extended that olive branch. And now that the legal processes have been concluded, we expect that they will come in. And to be factual and to be honest, we already have several people from that side already joining us. For example, the House of Assembly is almost totally APC now. You don't have to leave your political party, but at least join hands with the government. And so many people, because Governor Monday Okpebholo is soft-spoken, quiet, doesn't talk much, a lot of people weren't sure what to expect. But in the last 8 months, with the kind of activities he has carried out, with the kind of impact he has made, a lot of people have realized, this is a man who's genuinely committed to developing the state and improving the lives of people. And we've gotten support from a lot of people on the other side. So we hope that the remaining ones, now that the legal processes are concluded, would also join hands with him. He's always extended that olive branch, and that olive branch remains till today, until this time.
All right, Mr. Okhuemoi, we need to take a quick break now. When we return from that break, we'll continue from there and talking about what we should expect going forward. Please stay with us, everyone. This is Beyond the Headline. Thank you for staying with us. My guest is Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the Governor of Edo State. He is Oshogugi Okhuemoi. Now, litigations are over. What should we expect from the administration of Monday Okpebholo?
A continuation of practical governance, a continuation of policies that better the lives of the people, a continuation of people-driven and people-centered governance. Those of us who work with the governor have imbibed his ideology, where he's made people understand that public service is not rocket science. Governance is not rocket science. Governance should not be complicated. It's a simple situation of what do the people want? What do the people need? Provide the funding and provide those needs for them. It shouldn't be more than that. Coming from a government, the past administration that was very technocratic, very bureaucratic, very elitist, that seemed to have been disconnected from the people. He's offering a fresh style of government, and the results we have seen in the past 8 months have been massive. More than ever before, the Edo people are excited and happy that they have a governor that, one, comes from them. He's a very grassrooted politician, comes from them, understands their pain points, understands the issues, and is looking for the simplest and quickest ways to solve them. And the results that we've seen in the last 8 months have been amazing. Some things that hitherto seem to be like, insurmountable obstacles have been delivered with so much simplicity and so much ease. For the first time, we're having the first 2 flyovers, not just one, the first flyover in Edo State. As long as that state has been, there's never been a flyover. We're having the first 2. One of them was commissioned the first week of his getting into government. The contract for a second one has already been awarded. And these flyovers, beyond just being infrastructural milestones, they are very critical infrastructure for the areas that they are located in, and it will ease commuting and also position Edo State as an effective gateway for transportation to different parts of the country. Edo State is a transit city. Through Edo State, Benin City particularly, you can access the south, the west, the east, and the north. Now, we have a lot of travelers who pass through, but usually because of the challenges with commuting, challenges with some of the road infrastructure, we have a situation where they choose to take the bypass and cut out the city. But with these massive projects, we would be able to retain some of that traffic that passes through the city, which is good for logistics, which is good for commerce, which is good for hospitality. Several other infrastructural projects are going on. Roads are being tarred. Many welfare-centered policies by the government are already in place. Over R1 billion was released for paying of bursary fees, payments to Edo State students in tertiary institutions. Over R1 billion was released to settle the backlog, over 12 years backlog of pensions and gratuity. Over R1 billion was released as soft loans to market women, to traders and owners of small businesses. The Edo line, that was the pride of Edo State for decades, and that IDSA set a template for a lot of other state-owned transport companies, which had been moribund for a long time. Within a couple of weeks, is already on ground, which is a testament to the very simple, purposeful, practical style of government that Governor Monday Okpebholo, practices. What does it take to revive Edo line? Get buses, get competent hands to run it, and let it run and offer competitive pricing and better services for our people.
I hear you.
The urban market, which is an iconic,
Yes, we can go on and on. The governor talks about the SHINE agenda. He talks security, infrastructure, healthcare, food sufficiency, and of course, education. If we may stick with security a bit, cultism has been one major challenge in Edo State. And we know that the governor himself has declared that God actually sent him to fight cultism in Edo State. What progress would you say the administration has made in that regard?
No government in the history of Edo State, since this issue of cultism became an issue, has confronted the cultism issue as headlong and as decisively as Governor Monday Okpebholo has done it. What's interesting is that as at when he was sworn in, there was a very serious one raging at that time. Several lives have been lost. When I say several lives, they are talking of over, I mean, in dozens, over 20 lives have been lost. These are young Edo lives, our future, you know, making the state ungovernable. Immediately he came in, he employed the carrot and the stick approach, where he brought the groups together and he read the riot act to them that whatever, for whatever reasons or whatever nobody says you shouldn't join whatever you want to join as long as it's within the law and it's legal, but that you will make the state uncomfortable for other people and take lives will not be accepted. And, you know, he engaged them, spoke with them, and they had agreements. Unfortunately, maybe he expected, being a very foresighted person, he expected that there's a possibility these people, you know, won't keep to this conversation. So he worked with the State House of Assembly to review the state anti-kidnapping and cultism law to provide for stricter punishments and stricter, you know, consequences of engaging in things like that. That law, for the first time, captured those who don't participate in the activity but support it, maybe with funding or with any other kind of support. Those people have been captured in that law as being liable for punishment. It also captured people who provide safe haven for them. So you have a house, you know you have cultists in the house, living in the house, cult activities are planned in your house, but because you've collected rent, you turn a deaf ear, you know what I mean, yours is just to take the rent. Governor Monday Okpebholo believes that in solving the problems of Edo State, everybody must be hands-on. So the law was reviewed and it was communicated to everybody. The next time that issue came up, I mean, the full weight of the law was brought on, which saw, I mean, it went as far as seeing destruction of the headquarters of a major organization, you know, involved in such practices. So we've seen a relative, you know, reduction, massive reduction in the issues of, in the cultism issue. And now it's become, I mean, it's become a very, very serious issue that everybody is conscious of. Landlords are very careful about who they give properties to now. Whenever they see anything going wrong, they are quick to report to the authorities. So the cultism issue has been dealt with, you know, to a very, very major extent.
I hear you. You know, one of the major challenges, circumstances now that Governor Okpebholo has had to deal with was that of the Okhuemoi killings. Tell us, what is the stance of Edo State on livestock agriculture, livestock farming? How is it done? What is your stance on, you know, the relationship between farmers and herders in the state?
Okay, so we really don't have farmers and herders issues per se. What we have are criminal elements in our bushes, you know, that come out to cause havoc. And we must agree that it's not a state-situated problem. It's a national problem. These guys are very fluid. They stay in the bushes and they move across boundaries. They don't recognize boundaries. So you have a situation where they could be in this state today, tomorrow they're in this state. So I think the proactive measure every state government needs to take is to ensure that they don't find your space comfortable, which is what the governor has been doing. The Okhuemoi killing was an unfortunate incident, and the governor's priority was to prevent the loss of more lives. And if that matter had escalated, we probably won't be where we are today. So his proactive measures in dealing with that issue through constructive engagement with all the parties involved was able to help us manage that situation. A committee has been set up, two committees particularly, one concerning defining our boundaries and knowing where the jurisdiction of government activities, you know, can extend to, and another one to look at the activities of these headers in terms of having centralized locations for headers to do what they need to do. And those committees, the second committee on the forest protection and managing of the headers issue is headed by a retired General Cecil, who's very, very, you know, competent in issues like that. So we've seen that has helped contribute largely to a reduction in those issues, and in a very short while, that's something that won't be on the table for Edo State residents to deal with.
All right, quickly, let's return to talking infrastructure. You spoke about the Edo line, and we know that, you know, Senator from that state, Adams Okhuemoi, has himself mentioned that this is something that within about 8 years, you know, nothing was done about it. So talk to us more about that and what it means for Edo people. What are the benefits? What really would they gain from it?
All right, Edo Line is, I mean, it's a state pride, not just a state pride, a national pride. Edo Line was founded in 1968 as Midwest Line, then it became Bendel Line, and then it became Edo Line. And for those who grew up in those times, they will tell you that Edo Line was a part of their childhood. It was a part of life. It was something of pride for everybody. But unfortunately, years of not receiving the kind of attention it should receive and led to the transport outfit, dying. Now, during the government of our leader, Senator Adams Okhuemoi, the Edo Line issue was, of course, a burning issue. But like he said, it was a bit difficult for him at that time to deal with the issues, that would have led to the resuscitation. So what he did, which was also very good, was we have two transport companies. We have the Edo City Transport Service, which handles intercity transportation, and Edo Line, which handles interstate transportation. So he decided, okay, while I can't attend to Edo Line now, let me effectively attend to the ECTS, which he did and provided, at that time, over 50 high-capacity buses, which till today still exist. They are referred to as the comrade buses, and that effectively revolutionized the city transport service. It's unfortunate that the last administration that took over from him did not pay a single attention to that outfit. Not one single bus was added. The buses that the ECTS uses still today are still the same buses that Comrade Adams Okhuemoi, built. So since the next administration couldn't do that, immediately Governor Monday Okpebholo came in. His approach to governance is a bottom-up approach. Find out from the people what their issues are, what they need. And the Edo Line discussion was a very burning one during campaigns. And he made promises that when he gets into office, he will ensure that that outfit is revived. And true to his word, a man who keeps his promises, a man who takes his words, though very few, but very seriously. Immediately he came in, modalities were set in. Over 100 brand new buses were purchased for Edo Line. A management team has been appointed, and in the next couple of days, that line will flag off. What does that do for Edo residents? One, more competitive prices, better access to logistics, commerce, trading, and all of that. So beautiful things coming out of that.
All right, then. Special advisor on media and publicity to the governor of Edo State, Okhuemoi. Thank you very much for your time on the program.